Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm on leechess.org and going to play a 5-2 game against John Maggle. Alright, let's try d4 and c4. Alright, Grunfeld or King's Indian? King's Indian it is. Alright. Let's see what we get. Oh. Knight d7. Let's castle. Let's close it up. And now what? Queen c2. Yeah, let's develop and defend e4. And let's do this. Stops knight h5 and looks to challenge the knight. As soon as he moves, I'm looking at knight to d3. Let's go straight in. Guess I'll be taking with the bishop if knight takes knight. They may allow me to just take and they'll recapture with the d pawn because that gives the knight a square on d6. Maybe I'm alright with that. I could look to undermine the e5 pawn. That'd be one of the drawbacks. Yes, it opens up a new spot for the knight, but he's a little bit more vulnerable. So anyhow, I could have captured and then looked at some f5 strike at some stage. So on f5, I'm thinking f4. I think it's important I do this. Yep, let's do it. Don't want to allow f4 by black. And then this squeeze against my king, so let's open it up. I'd like to have all these pawns exchanged. Okay. How to recapture? Probably with the knight. I don't want to deal with knight to f6 with tempo on my bishop. This is an open position. Let's take some care over those bishops. I thought the other capture with maybe g5, f4 was an idea. They're just going with the solid move. I don't want to take because rook takes rook and I have to underdevelop, so let's get a bishop move in. Where does he belong? I guess here, so that I can consider a capture and then challenge the bishop on e6. I'd really like to have this guy exchanged. Now I should consider this. I don't see any reason not to go straight in for this. Let's do it. Now that my rooks are connected, let's open this position up. Let's get that pre-move in. Maybe even bishop g5 is an idea if they're not careful. Yeah, I'm really eyeing up, though, bishop c3. They did capture. And they're pointing at h2. Bishop g5 forces their queen to a pretty awkward square. Actually, am I not just winning now? Bishop g5 and then queen f2 to f7. How do you stop that? Yeah, I don't think you stop that. I'm also even threatening mate on f8. This must be right. Queen c8. A must, as otherwise I get to f7 and I'm hitting a loose piece. Okay. Actually, what am I talking about? Queen here, bishop f5. I could do this, though. This must be correct. Queen f2. Let's just go straight in for it. Could get their dark square bishop. If the knight here, and I think they have to move the knight. Bishop g7 might hold. Although I could give a check, queen e7, and then think about this. Or even rook to f8, in fact. Yeah, bishop g7, queen f7, king h8, queen e7 threatens rook f8. Bishop takes, queen takes, mate. The knight has no moves, really. If I could control these two squares, the knight is dead, and if the knight can't move, these two don't see the world over here on the kingside. So control the knight and you control these two major pieces as a way to view it. Okay. Give a check or go straight in for knight here. Queen check first seems right. Alright, let's see if I could see a tactic for once. There's something juicy here, man. There's something juicy here. Will he spot it? Queen f7, king h8. Knight f6. That bishop is pretty short on squares, actually. Oh, that should do it then. Queen f7, king h8, knight f6. I'm on the bishop twice. If he goes here, I have queen f8 mate. If bishop takes bishop, bishop takes, and that's deadly. Queen check first, and then knight to f6, and the knight is also paralyzed at that stage, is he not? Queen f7, knight f6. If the knight moves, I have mate here. These checks are nothing, I just move in the corner. Let's do it. Knight f6, just double checking here, I have some time to do it. Knight f6. Actually, on knight f6, bishop f5. No, that's not working. Knight f6, bishop f5, I could just take and at the very least damage their structure. Knight can't take. I feel like I've already missed something that was more convincing. I didn't see the knockout. I feel like I'm already past the knockout stage. Well, there might be another knockout, but I feel like I've already missed something good. But let's try to stay focused here. Bishop f5, what will I do? I believe just take, and I think that that's their only move. Bishop g4, I could just capture, and then there's mate with queen f8. Rook takes. I only need a rook here to deliver mate at the end. This knight takes away that flight square. So I guess that this is what they're considering. Bishop g4 as well. I'll just take right away. They're in the think tank, less time than me. It's nice. This is just losing right away. Can't get out of that pin if my bishop's on this diagonal. Bishop f5. Bishop f5 it is. How about I take and then play knight d7? What does that even do? Let's start with this. And maybe this move? Wow. Are they considering... Oh, they're either considering a check or... That must be the only other move. What else could they be considering? Because I have mate on h7. So bishop h6, bishop takes knight. Or queen f8. Okay. Oh, man. Okay. Well, I don't think I'm not seeing anything here. And I guess they're going to go for a queen trade now with queen f8. Yeah. So I'm still the better side, but I don't know. I guess I have to exchange queens now. Sad, but I believe true. Sad but true. Also, my knight runs the risk of getting trapped. Bishop d4 check now. Man. Should have never gotten this far. Okay, my knight is not going to be trapped now. He's got c6. I want g3, king g2. This is tough to fight back from, I must say. Like, just psychologically, when you know that something was there, and you have to play out this endgame, which is still favorable for white, no doubt. You know, they have a fianchettoed knight. Maybe this is a move. I at least get my knight into play with tempo against their bishop. Given time, I just want g3, king g2, and I'm happy. I'll take these small little details. Think tank. There we go. Control that knight. Keep him fianchettoed. Let's see if I could catch a tactic later. If it even gets to that point, they're running low on time here. Alright, knight. Do something dangerous. Boxing out my knight again, are you? I think my knight will be good here. And where do I want to go? Let's keep this square under control. Don't allow this. Didn't see that move. Keep pressure on that pawn. Oh, man. Okay, can I not win that pawn now? Maybe I want to kick their king back some first. Think about the e6 square. That cuts off their rook. I think the knight has to return to g7. He's not going there. Staying active. Knight f4. They're going to play some pawn move. Let's go here. Wow. Why am I pulling my knight away here? It's a nail biter. It's a nail biter. Okay, the H file is opened up. Let's get over here. Enter on the 7th. How about that? Or maybe even over here. There's an open A file. Don't forget about that. Threatening to maybe take the knight and land a fork. Alright, I could give this check. Let's get right here, behind that pawn. Let's just step up first. I guess they're gonna get that guy, huh? I was ready to get mated with rook to e4. Wow, a knight ending. Get to take this pawn and defend c4. And even hunt down the f-pawn. Alright, we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, he's a long way off from getting my g-pawn now. I think I could go in this direction, and I should have this in time. Let's push this one. He's really fast. Alright, he's just letting me queen. Let's give a check. Going there. Let's go here. And push this. They resigned. For a second, I thought I was down on time. Good grief. Messy, man. Messy. It's a win, but it's a win that feels no good. There's no satisfaction whatsoever from this game. Man. What did I miss? Stockfish, tell me. Tell me what I missed. Okay. I'm fine with how the opening played out. This reaction to f5, playing f4 is fine. I know it is. If I'm not reacting like this, I have to deal with this kind of shutdown of the center. And then this caveman style attack against my king, just launching pawns and going right after my king's throat. So how do you stop that? You meet f5 with f4 and open up the position. Knight takes b6. Just be half pawnish advantage just because of this guy, giving some weight to the d5 pawn. Anything missed around here? I don't think so. Queen c2 defends e4. This knight reposition, it's fine. And I like the timeliness of it too, because I don't want to deal with knight h5, because once he's there, then I have some concern of f4. Don't want to play this because I weaken my light squares, so knight e1 right now. Queen c2, I played queen c2, they played a5, so if they're doing this right away, I could give him a boot. So once I defend e4, they then stabilize their knight position, and now I do this just before they play knight h5. Just drawing some attention to that move order there. Suggest capture first. And then f3. Okay. So this is another one to be aware of. Not playing f4, because they could play here and it's closed. But instead this really quiet move, but f3 stops this pawn from going any further and keeps pressure on f5, which means this knight will struggle to get back in play. Cuts off the connection with the rook if he goes there. They could slowly improve like this. Maybe even there's ideas connected with king h1 and then g4, breaking down these light squares. Okay, noted. You can go for this capture and then this really patient, modest-looking f3. Okay, I just played f4. It's now even. Takes. Did I miss anything? I must have. Okay, now it's pawn advantage. b6 seems fine. Maybe a little too slow. Get this knight right back into play. Maybe that's an improvement for black instead of b6. This is aimed at preventing a c5 pawn break. Although I don't know if I would really be going for that. There's some drawback in that d5 is then sensitive for me. It may turn out to be poison. These are just general considerations. You know, bishop maybe pinning the queen to the king at some point if he is taken. To work it out precisely, of course. But okay, b6 stops c5. Take. Pawn and a half advantage. How could I have done better? I played bishop g5. It's fine with that. And now queen f2 is winning. What did I miss? +5, queen f7. So far, so good. Let's go with bishop to f6. +5. Wow. Okay, I went with the knight. What's the trick here? Bishop takes, knight takes. And now bishop here. Okay, so suppose they do this right now. I have this. Aren't they getting a trade in, though? Oh my god. That's tough to see. This rook up and over, I could do without my queen. Who needs her? This knight, 2 squares away from the corner square, he is a beast and a half. Who needs a queen? Knight and rook. Oh, that's pretty sweet. Didn't see this idea of a rook lift. I figured my queen would be challenged in short order with bishop here takes. You know, they have the f5 square and this slow, well, not slow, but this quiet move. Rook f3 to h3. You figure in the meantime your queen is going to be exchanged, and then you have, you know, you've missed your chance for a tactic, but there's still a tactic there. Rook f3, queen f8, rook h3, and that's the ball game. It's mate. It's mate. Can't do anything about it. Right here, you take, mate. Wow. Nice. Okay, this is something I will remember, these these things, these little motifs here, these little configurations. A knight fianchettoed like this, a knight here, this little rook lift. That's sharp. Yeah. All right. Well, I went in with the knight instead, and now it's still fine, pawn and a half advantage, but clearly not as decisive as bishop f6. So far, so good with the knight f6 move, and now a rook lift. Yeah, this is where I got nervous. I'm like, okay, my queen is the queens are soon to be exchanged. I don't want to have to deal with being down a pawn. But I guess it's still calling out for this rook lift. Not as decisive in this case. Queen f8, rook here. They could now take the knight out. Queen takes, bishop takes. Still the better side. A space, superior minor piece, better structure, but yeah. Yeah, this is pretty good. Could even improve the king. This might even be a 1 king and pawn ending even. Just trade. Not entirely sure, but at least I have the choice. Okay, well, what more to say? I played b3, queens are now off. I started to have some fear of getting my knight trapped. My king is flushed to the corner. My knight finally gets back involved. I nearly fell for a mate in one. I nearly fell for a mate in one. It's holding as a pawn advantage. Less than that. Yep, right around here, I nearly fell for a mate. +2. Knight here, rook here, knight f3 with the fork. Rook here, we could give a check. We could give another check. King takes knight h4. King here. I take the knight. And then go into Pac-Man mode. The rook is out of play. Tough to see that. At this point, we're playing off of the increment. It's even. And where did I almost fall for that mate? Right around here. I was ready to take here. That would have been painful. That would have been very painful. Glad I didn't do that. Rook takes instead. And this knight ending will be very difficult for black to try to hold. You know, tough to play accurately in these knight endings. So little time. But in the end, it is working out. Get the queen. And yeah, they're not going to be in time. I have to get back that always pre-move to queen, or always promote to queen. I'm pushing through. Okay, well, I had my opportunities there with the bishop f6 move instead of knight to f6. From a tactical, a tactical note from this one is bishop to f6 with this rook lift idea. And the positional thing I'm taking away, or at least one of the positional things I'm taking away, is this idea of simply taking. And then if pawn takes, you have this f3 move, this modest restricting type move, still keeping the center fluid. And slowly then building up bishop d2, I imagine. And I think an active plan, again, is something related to king h1 and g4, maybe even first rook g1 and then g4, going after the king. I didn't look at this, but I guess the other capture, of course, is for black to go like this. Well, what could I do in this case? I could operate on the e4 square. They give that up. If they're not taking with the pawn, I could operate on the e4 square. It popped up for a second f3. It's also considering that. With maybe f3. Not how big a fan. I think I'd be looking more along the lines of, let's say, developing rook here and maintaining my control over e4. Yeah. Okay, well, some interesting ideas that I learned in this one. Hope you took a thing or two away from this one as well. And feel free to leave any feedback in the comment section below, as usual. I hope you got something out of it. That's all for now. Take care.